Have you ever felt like you're being followed around the internet? You look at a pair of shoes and suddenly ads for those exact shoes are everywhere. It can feel a little spooky, but it's not magic. It's digital tracking. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain and show you exactly how it all works. It's actually a pretty straightforward, logical system when you break it down. So think about it. You're on a website, you find that thing you've been looking for, and you hit that Add to Cart button. Seems like a simple click, right? But that one little action kicks off this incredible chain reaction of data flying all over the place. What's actually being sent, and where is it all going? We're going to follow that single click on its journey. And here's the secret. That entire complex-sounding journey, from your click all the way to a company's sales report, really just boils down to 3 simple layers. And once you get these 3 layers, the magic of digital tracking just disappears. You'll see, it's all about logic. So here's the roadmap for our trip. It all starts with you, the user, taking an action. Then, in step 2, that action gets captured and processed. And finally, in step 3, it's turned into some kind of useful insight for the business. We're going to walk through each of these one by one. Okay, let's start at the very beginning, the point of origin, layer 1. This all happens right there, inside your web browser, the second you interact with a site. So what do we mean by a user action? Well, it's not just you moving your mouse around randomly. Businesses are looking for very specific, meaningful moments. Did you look at a product page? Did you click that big Learn More button? Or, of course, did you add something to your cart? These are the key events that tell a story about what you're interested in. Okay, so how does the website actually remember that you clicked something? It uses a clever little thing called a data layer. The best way to think about it is like a digital clipboard. When you click Add to Cart, the website quickly jots down the important details, like the product name, the price, the color, right onto this clipboard, getting it ready for the next step. And this is what that jotting down actually looks like behind the scenes. Now, don't worry, you don't need to be a programmer to get this. All this little piece of code is saying is, hey, just so you know, an Add to Cart event just happened. That's it. At this point, the data hasn't gone anywhere yet. It's just been neatly packaged up, waiting on that clipboard. All right, the data's been captured on our clipboard. Now what? How does it actually get from the website to all the places that need it? Well, that's where layer 2 comes in, the data middleman. This analogy is perfect. This middle layer, which is usually a tool like Google Tag Manager, is basically a digital traffic controller. It doesn't create any new data. Its only job is to grab the info from the website's clipboard and direct it to all the right destinations, kind of like an air traffic controller telling planes which gate to go to. So how does this traffic controller actually work? It's really simple. It has 3 main jobs. First, you've got a trigger. Think of this as the ear. It's always listening for a specific event, like our Add to Cart. Then you have a variable. That's the eye. It looks at the clipboard and reads the details, like the product's price. And finally, you have the tag. That's the mouth. It takes all that info and sends it off to another platform. So it just listens, reads, and sends. That's the whole logic. Right about now, you might be asking, okay, but why do we even need this middleman? Why can't the website just send the data directly? And that is a fantastic question. The answer really boils down to one word: efficiency. And this slide shows that efficiency perfectly. That one single Add to Cart event that we captured back in layer 1 can now be sent to a whole bunch of places at the same time. The traffic controller can send a copy over to Google Analytics for reporting, shoot another one to Meta for ad targeting, and another to TikTok, all from that one initial click. It's incredibly powerful. And that brings us to our final stop, layer 3, the destination. This is where all that carefully captured and directed data finally lands and gets turned into something a human can actually use, like a chart or a sales dashboard. Now, here's a really important concept to grasp about these destination platforms. They don't magically know what's happening on a website. They are, for all intents and purposes, completely blind. They only know what we tell them from layer 2. This quote says it all. If you forget to set up the tracking for a purchase and never send that purchase event, well, as far as a tool like Google Analytics is concerned, that sale never happened. It's not a mind reader. It only knows what it's been told. And this is exactly why all those little details matter so much. The accuracy of every single chart, every report, and every business decision that's made based on this data is 100% dependent on the quality of the data you send in the first 2 layers. It's the classic saying, garbage in, garbage out. Okay, so now that we get the 3 layers, let's zoom out for a second. Why go through all this trouble? Well, it's all about being able to answer some of the most important questions a business has.
I mean, knowing that 100 people bought your product today is fine, it's useful, but knowing that 80 of those 100 people came from that one specific ad campaign you launched yesterday, now that is powerful. That's what we call attribution, and it's how businesses decide where to spend their money to get the best results.
To connect those dots, every event we track carries extra little bits of information with it. We call them signals. These signals tell the platform how the user got there. For instance, UTMs are little tags you can add to a link in an email newsletter so you know who came from that email. Click IDs are unique codes that tell you someone came from a specific ad. All these signals help paint the full picture of what's working and what's not. And this whole system is always evolving. The standard method we've been talking about, called browser side, sends data straight from your browser. But with things like ad blockers and new privacy rules, a more advanced method is becoming popular: server-side tracking. Here, the data goes from your browser to the company's own server first and then gets forwarded. It just makes the data more reliable and a lot more secure. But here's the key takeaway. Even with fancy new methods like server-side tracking, the core logic never, ever changes. A user takes an action, that action gets captured, and then it gets sent to a destination. That three-layer journey is fundamental. So there you have it. We followed a single click from your browser all the way to a business report. We've seen it's not some kind of dark magic, it's just a simple, logical, three-step process. So now that you understand how it all works, the real question is, what story is your data going to be able to tell?